Hi friends, Jen the Money Medium here. Happy full moon in Gemini. So what's going on energetically? It actually feels like a really balanced full moon. There was a lot of interesting energy last week. A lot of not quite sure what's happening over the last couple of weeks. Sort of this really, I think, highly evolving transformational energy. But when we advance really quickly, it can feel quite uncomfortable and sort of like don't know what's going on. So you may have experienced some stuff in the last couple of weeks that is just kind of, it felt like maybe it was screwing with your vibe or you couldn't really ground. And this full moon feels like it's grounding us. It's like the balance, the harmonizing of all of that highly evolving transformational energy that has taken place. Now it's like we've caught up. So what else feels like it's happening with this Gemini moon is that you may find yourself feeling a little extra argumentative or confrontational. Also, Jupiter has now gone into Capricorn. It was in Sagittarius for the last year, so there was this expansive visioning happening over the last year and really expansive in moving forward with what you want and knowing what you want. Now that Jupiter has moved into Capricorn, we have much more structural things to take care of, to pay attention to. And you may have, over the last year, taken on more responsibility with that Jupiter energy in Sag. Now it's time to really, with that responsibility, make sure you've got your files in order and make sure the structures are in place. And so like spreadsheets and organization, very important moving forward into this year. This is our last full moon of this season, and we have an eclipse coming up on the 26th, I believe, of December, right after Christmas. How awesome. And that's going to really finish up our year in that way. So we started with eclipses and we're going to end with an eclipse. So make sure with this full moon, always with full moons, it's a good time to think about and look at what you no longer want to give your energy to, what no longer serves you, what you no longer want to pull along on this journey, or the work that you no longer want to do, people you no longer want to be around, addictions you no longer want to carry with you, food, if you want to transform your diet, if there's anything that feels like it's not serving your highest good. Now, that is always an evolving process too. So don't be hard on yourself and don't take on this resolution mentality where you try to quickly change everything all at once, because that, as you know, usually backfires a little. Remember that change is you've got your lifetime to create change in your life. So do it with this nice, easy unfolding rather than I need to do it all right now in order for it to be perfect, in order for me to even move forward, or that mentality of I need to have everything, all of the education, all of the knowledge until I can move forward. That it's I know it feels like that could be true, but it's actually impossible to have all of the knowledge that you will ever need to move forward with something, because life is an ever unfolding evolving process. It's always in change. There's always going to be more, right? So the key is to just take the next step and take the next step and take the next step and take the next step. We can never, I know it feels like it would be great if we could do it all at once. Life just doesn't happen like that. Otherwise we wouldn't have 100 years on the planet. Life doesn't happen all at once. Although, fun way to look at time is if time was never created, it would actually feel like everything was unfolding at once. Think about that. Because you'd have no space to categorize it into timelines. So it would just be very present in the now. So Gemini, the other thing with Gemini is this duality with Gemini. And what you might find happening is there may be decisions for you to make in life, in what you're moving towards. And with that, you might be having a lot of back and forth. The vision that I get is that, back watching the Smurfs or whatever it might have been, and you have like the angel on one side and then the devil on the other side, and they're both telling you to do something different, right? Trying to guide you in the direction that they want. So you may be feeling with some of the big decisions that are upon you right now, this back and forth. And rather than make that wrong, use it as a tool. And here's how you can use that as a tool. When you feel like you're going back and forth about something, notice that it's not, especially when you've got a full moon in Gemini, because the full moon is trying to help you release things that don't serve you. Gemini is trying to help you figure out what you want. What is the best way? What can you do better? What do you need? What would feel easier? What would feel good? Those are really important questions to ask yourself. Instead of letting the mind make those decisions for you based on what you think you should do, according to what people have done in the past or what you've been told by other experts that that's the way that it should go, you need to remember to listen to yourself first and foremost. What is your intuition telling you? What feels better to you? And so that Gemini mentality, that duality of, do I want vanilla or chocolate, vanilla or chocolate, vanilla or chocolate? It might be the smallest things, like what kind of cookies do I want to make? Do I want gingerbread shortbread? What box of chocolates do I want to get? It might feel like it's harder to make even small decisions right now, but that's because the universe, the energy right now, is asking you to really think about even the smallest decisions, I was at the theater the other day and automatically went to go get a straw for my drink, and been trying to really be conscious and making different and even small and better decisions. And I am somebody who doesn't want to support plastics. Do I still use plastics? Yes, there's a long way to go. But making small decisions on something like, maybe I can have this drink without the plastic straw. But it took me a second to go, wait, do I want it? Is that habit? Can I drink it without the straw? And so this energy is really about taking the time to reevaluate, to really question on a deeper level what's important to you, what are your values aligned with, what are your beliefs aligned with, your beliefs, not the beliefs you grew up with believing. What's important to you? What do you want to believe? What do you want to support? So there may be this sort of back and forth going on. It's also a really beautiful time to do some cleansing with your tools. So if you use tarot or crystals, a really good time to release any energy from the year for that. Now, another really cool thing to do on New Year's, which we will have a new moon before them, but in this book, Crystal, Gem, and Metal Magic, Cunningham's Encyclopedia of, it gives this really cool thing that you can do for the new year. So on New Year's, you go out and you find a stone, a rock, it could even be a piece of wood, something from nature that is fairly heavy, but that you could walk home with. You could walk the distance home with. So you don't want to pick something so heavy it's going to hurt your back, but something that's heavy enough that it makes you work a little bit. And then the whole way home with that thing, you really think about everything that you desire for your future, right? And your goals and your dreams, you think about that the whole way that you're carrying this rock. Because as we're creating our dreams, things can get a little tricky. They can feel a little challenging at times. And the thing to remember is you can do it. And that's sort of the metaphor for carrying the rock is no matter what happens, I know I can carry this. I can see it through. I can do this. So it's a really cool thing to do on New Year's. Now remember, when you're out there, Christmas, holidays, all of this, that Gemini duality, because the way that a lot of people have shopped in the past is to just, by obligation, go and find the gift, right? Make sure your gifts have that thought to them. Have I thought about what that person would love? Has it drawn my attention? Is it aligned with my values and beliefs? Is it aligned with their values and beliefs, right? Are you using paper? Is that because it's an old belief, or you like using paper for wrapping? It's pretty. There's no right and wrongs. Remember, it's just what's important to you, and is it supporting what you're moving into? So there's also Chiron has been in an interesting place. So Chiron is about healing wounds, and you may have found over the last little while that some old wounds are being triggered. Old wounds around what you think you can do, if you're good enough, that kind of stuff. And so it's extremely important to evaluate when that shows up, when sort of those, I don't feel like I'm good enough, why don't they like me, why didn't I get the job, that kind of stuff. When it shows up, pay attention. Like, our thoughts are honestly our greatest tools in this life. That going unknown, unconscious to those thoughts, they can be our biggest enemy as well, because they work on a subconscious level, saying things like you're not good enough. And if you are not aware of that, then you can't change it, right? When you are aware of it, you can then go, wait a minute, that didn't work out for me because, first of all, maybe I didn't really even want that. It wasn't the perfect outcome for me. The universe has something else in store for me that's even better, more aligned with me, with what I want. So pay attention to any triggers to old wounds, thought processes, and get in there, get into your mind, pay attention, and see what you can work with, you know? What else can you be telling yourself rather than what's running through your head by automation? I'm going to pull a card for this full moon. Let's see what it says. Da 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 da. So, Two of Swords. The Two of Swords. Here we go. So, there's this feeling of you've gotten there. It's been hard work, but with loyalty and commitment. What is the word? There's one more word. Persistence. You get there. You overcome. So really think about what you've overcome, the distance that you've come. Who has been loyal to you? Who have you been loyal to? And take note of that. So really think of that as going through your entire year and appreciating what you have done, what you've gotten through, and maybe even sharing some appreciation for those around you that have been loyal to you, that have supported you, that have helped your journey become and feel easy rather than being in struggle. That's all from me on this full moon in Gemini. Lots of love to you. Have a wonderful full moon. I'm Jen the Money Medium. Until next time.